name is Trevor Tyson from Kbandstraining.com. Today we're going to be working on the ladder chute drill. We're going to combine different leg combinations through the ladder, take a turn, and then sprint into the resistance with parachutes. The key is to set up your speed and agility ladder where you have enough space for the sprint out. Give yourself about 20 to 30 yards for each individual sprint with the chutes. Remember, if you're a beginner, you can take off one of the clips and only sprint with one parachute, or if you're getting a little bit faster, want more resistance, go ahead and use both of the Kbands Speed Chutes as we run out into that 30-yard mark. Complete high knees, lateral high knees, the icky shuffle, anything to maintain some rhythm. You're going to be holding both parachutes in your hand as you explosively move down, working on our foot speed through each specific hold. Take that sprint, round the cone, drop the chutes, and accelerate forward. Keep your hands working naturally through the ladder. You're just going to be in a simple fist position holding the chutes. As you accelerate forward with the parachutes now, it's essential that we maintain that proper running form. Drop the chest, move through the dig phase, and work through the entire resisted rep. Complete 8 to 10 resisted rounds followed by 4 to 5 unresisted sprints. This is going to be a great rep duration to really challenge our speed through the resistance training of the chutes. Today we're going to move through the Kbands Alley Sprints combined with the Victory ropes. This is going to be a great workout for us to work on moving front to back as well as accelerating downfield. Utilize speed and agility cones or other markers to help with your distances. First, we're going to put our K-bands just above our knee, long band in the front, short band on the back to turn on our hip flexors and work on quick acceleration. Next, we're going to have those Victory ropes thrown around our waist, working with our hands through the anchor straps. Partners are then going to walk back until we get a little bit of tension. Notice the markers are set up in 3 different rows of about 5 yards. We've got 2, 2, and a single one where we're going to be starting. Now, as the sprint begins, we're going to be applying a lot of resistance, making them power through, working on these drag sprints, working the knees up, being explosive. Maintain that fast arm action, coming up towards your face, keeping great L's through our running form. As you reach the 3rd row, we're now going to backpedal and the partner will throw the bands out around. The slingshot effect will take the Victory ropes out of the way. As the athlete reaches that 2nd row, they'll then find their base and accelerate forward onto a 20-yard sprint. If we're working with beginner athletes, we can drop it down to 1 Victory rope, but we want to really get rid of that elastic effect. We want it to be a consistent amount of resistance as they power forward. So 2 Victory ropes would be ideal as you sprint to that 3rd row. Notice now the anchor has to give a little bit of a throw out to the side. We're going to use some of that momentum to get that Victory rope out of the way. It's key that it's out of the way for the sprint out. Drag sprints with resistance are great for building stride length and power, so maintain explosiveness. If you add too much resistance to where the athletes are running in place, that's not what we want to do. We want to maintain that explosive knee drive all the way to the 3rd cone and then into the sprint out. Work through 6 to 8 resisted sets followed by 4 to 5 unresisted sets. The key is to complete these exercises just like weight training. Now that you're free and easy, you gotta work to be explosive throughout the entire set. Let's work through the Kbands Alley Shuffles. This exercise is great for many different sports that require fast acceleration in a lateral plane. First, we're going to begin with our Victory ropes wrapped around our partner's waist. Maintaining nice, strong tension in the Victory ropes will allow us to build power in our hips. Also notice you're going to be wearing K-bands just above our knee to get that glute activation as we move explosively to the side. Set up 3 rows of cones in 5-yard increments to allow for some spacing and distance between our sprints. Now you're going to laterally shuffle all the way to the 3rd row of cones. The partner that is the anchor will then throw the bands out to the side. They will slingshot around the body, and we will come back to the 2nd cone, allowing the Victory ropes to get out of the way and drop our shoulder, turn, and sprint. Remember, it's important that we really gain ground from that 2nd cone. If you're standing in place and lead with that front leg, we're not actually going to move forward. So be sure you turn, get that chest over your hips, and accelerate forward. Each sprint should be about 20 yards before jogging back for your next set. 6 to 8 resisted reps followed by 4 to 5 unresisted. We're going to lose the Victory ropes and work on our acceleration without any resistance from the drag position. Anchors, be sure that you're making the athletes work but not too much resistance. We can't have our athletes freezing as we shuffle. We want to maintain a good pace with resistance all the way out to that 3rd row. In all athletics, we need to be explosive from side to side as well as be able to accelerate from a stop position. The Caveins Box Sprints is going to be a great way for us to challenge each of these individual activities. First, we're going to need to set up our boundaries with cones. Create a box that's about 10 yards apart so that we can get a little bit of spacing and movement throughout the drill. First, you're gonna begin at the first cone and you're gonna accelerate forward all the way to the third row. Next, we're gonna drop step and shuffle to the back right or left cone. As you reach that cone, we're then going to accelerate out to a 20-yard sprint. A few key things to remember here is that we need to be explosive and maintain control with our top half. If we get to the middle and start really leaning, we're not going to be able to explosively move in a balanced position. Maintain that chest position, stay centered, plant your feet and accelerate forward. Remember that back step, if we lead with that front leg and take a big long stride, we're gonna be slower out of the box. So plant that feet, rotate the hips over that front side and then accelerate into the 20-yard sprint. You're gonna complete 8 resisted reps with the left drop step and the right drop step before we do any unresisted reps. Notice you're wearing Kbands throughout the exercise. This is gonna be great to help build our hip flexors and acceleration. Every time that we laterally move, we're gonna get extra muscle stimulation throughout our hips. So we're building muscle, maintaining quickness in the sport-specific fashion that we're training in. Drop step, sprint out through resistance, driving the knees, using great arm action throughout the entire exercise. The Kbands box turns is gonna be a great way for us to challenge our acceleration off a turn. Notice we're going to be using Kbands to help with our acceleration as well as that knee drive off of our turn and sprint out. Each sprint will be about 20 yards past the cone setup that we have. Each of the cones should be about 5 yards apart, but if you're more advanced, you can spread them out a little bit farther. We're going to be starting in a nice ready position, similar to our 40-yard dash start, so we're going to accelerate to that third row of cones. Next, we're going to drop step and shuffle to the back right or left cone. When we get to that cone, we're going to turn our backs and accelerate all the way around, similar to an L drill. This is going to work on our rotational speed, whether we get turned around or we're out of position. With this drill, we're going to learn to accelerate and still defend or get upfield for an offensive pass. During this drill, we're going to be completing 8 resisted reps. Drop step, go all the way around the cone, accelerate out in that 20-yard, and then we're going to switch over to the other side for additional drops. Before we move on to the unresisted reps, I want you to focus on the specific movements of the athlete. We want to keep a nice centered position and really be explosive to each of the cones. Keep your center of gravity as you drop step, but then when it's time to turn and blow, then you turn and accelerate forward, really driving your arms. The key to maintaining and building the speed quickly from a spinning position is to have explosive arms with proper balance. Keep that chest over your hips and accelerate forward into the dig phase. Follow up your resisted sets with 4 unresisted sprints, 2 on each side. Let's work through the alley directional drill where we really work on our foot speed and quickness from side to side as well as our acceleration forward. You're going to set up 3 rows of cones simulating an alley. We're going to be working between these cones in about 5 to 10 yard increments. As we reach the third row of cones, we're then going to work inside the box following our coach's direction. Move from side to side, drop steps, and even the sprint out to complete the drill. Notice now there's a farther cone out about 20 yards away. This is going to be our optimal goal of trying to sprint through that range, working through the resistance of Kbands. Remember now, the bands are going to provide great hip flexor activation. So we want to power through each individual stride using great arm action through that 20-yard burst. 6 to 8 resisted sets followed by 2 to 4 unresisted. Remember, your legs are going to be feeling free and easy, so it's important that we really work through this phase and accelerate through the sprints. Always keep that center of gravity through the direction changes, and coaches be vocal on where you want your athletes to go. This is a great small group or even a large group team setting drill. For more sport-specific drills, head to kbandstraining.com and grab your set of Kbands or look through our training section for more ideas on how to become a faster athlete.